Hello, Wildcats. This is Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States. I'm elated to hear that you are learning about the U.S. Constitution and the three branches of government. Next, I'm going to introduce Mrs. Dearborn, who is going to explain your next assignment, Engaging Notes. And by the way, I approve this message. Hi class, this is Mrs. Dearborn, and I'm going to go ahead and review with you your next assignment, which is called Engaging Notes, focusing on the three branches of government. I know this sort of sounds like Barack Obama, but this really is Mrs. Dearborn this time, so I just want to clarify that. Okay, at this point in the screencast, if you don't mind, go ahead and pressing pause, and I want you to go back to Haiku and print out the three branches of government Engaging Notes assignment sheet, and then come on back to the screencast when you are ready. Okay, hopefully this document on the screen looks familiar to you because this is the assignment sheet for our assignment. Once again, it's called Engaging Notes for the three branches of government. You're basically going to create engaging notes for one branch of our government. So you're going to pick the branch of your choice. I recommend picking a branch that maybe you're a little bit uncomfortable with and therefore you can increase your knowledge base, or you can pick a branch that you know a lot about and use this as a review tool. You're basically going to need for this assignment an 8.5 by 11 piece of computer paper. It can be white or it can be any color. Markers, colored pencils, ruler, and stickers if you choose. Here are the requirements for your engaging notes. All of your engaging notes must be completed by hand. So basically, I don't want any computer graphics, I don't want any typing, I want it to be all done by hand. On your engaging notes, the first thing you've got to do is make sure you include a large title that clearly shows me which branch you have chosen. Every page of engaging notes needs to have a summary. I'm looking for a summary that's 5 to 8 sentences and it's packed with the essential information of the assignment. So what I'm looking for is the qualifications for your branch, the powers that our Constitution empowers your branch with, and also the checks and balances. Basically, how does it work with the other branches in terms of checking their power? Next, I'm looking for one primary illustration or icon that represents your branch of government. I'm going to show you examples in a moment, so that'll make this a little more clear. I'm also looking for, in your required items, an example of a realistic proposed item. An example would be if you choose the legislative branch, you actually have to take a realistic topic and give me an example of a proposed law. If you choose the executive branch, you've got to give me an example of how the executive branch possibly would sign or veto this law. And lastly, the judicial branch, you've got to give me a realistic example of a law that they would declare unconstitutional. After the required items, now you get to move on to the free choice items of your engaging notes. So you're basically asked to choose 2 from this list below. You could choose to create a slogan, an analogy. You could choose to write level 2 and 3 questions from Bloom's or Costa's level of thinking. You could create a what if then this statement. You could take a position on which branch you believe is more powerful. You can create a concept poem. You could choose to create a limerick or a haiku poem, and you would follow the format given in your literature textbook. You could also create a metaphor or simile or an acrostic poem. This assignment is worth 25 points. So it's very important that you guys are doing your best work and you earn the maximum points possible that you can. Let's take a look at some examples of completed engaging notes. This one is obviously on the legislative branch. I have my large title here, clearly on the page, so it's very obvious which branch I'm doing. This is my main illustration / icon, a bill becoming a law. You notice that I've titled each section of my engaging notes. So I've clearly titled my summary. Here's the acrostic poem. I chose to do branches in action, giving an example from 2011. I chose to do a what if statement. Here's an example of a simile and a level 3 question. Feel free to add graphics and color to enhance the final end product of your engaging notes. Next, here's an example of the executive branch. Again, I have a very, very clear large title. Here's my primary graphic that I've chosen to create. I have each section labeled. I have my summary. I have my analogy. Here's my leveled questioning. I've labeled here my concept poem that I created, a what-if statement, and an example of a proposed law. Again, I've added color and I've added additional graphics to just enhance the overall appeal of my project here. Lastly, I'll give an example of the judicial branch. Again, the large title, very clear and obvious. We have the primary graphic here. I have an acrostic poem clearly labeled. Here's my summary. I've got an analogy labeled, a proposed law. Notice I even included a key number, in which we used on our web quest. Another acrostic. I have a slogan that I created on a signpost, and a what if then this statement. So here's an example of 3 finished products. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reemphasize this assignment is worth 25 points, okay? What I'm looking for when I assess your engaging notes, I'm looking for the accuracy of your information and the depth of your ideas. I hope you're not just presenting the obvious facts that we've gone over and that you kind of go above and beyond in showing a deeper understanding of your branch of government. Your summary, obviously, 5 to 8 sentences. You need to make sure you tell me the qualifications, the powers, and how it checks the power of the other branches. You're also going to be graded on the visual appeal of your notes. So do a good job. Add color, add graphics. Make sure that your visual notes are appealing. Obviously, make sure that you follow directions and you've included all the required items. Once your engaging notes are finished, just take a second and ask yourself, do your engaging notes represent your best effort? Okay, so back to our assignment sheet. I'm going to give you at least 1 period in class to work on your engaging notes. I'm also going to post a lot of examples around the classroom from last year to get you started. And hopefully you enjoy creating your engaging notes. Thank you for paying attention to our screencast.